Ahoy gamers, and welcome back to another attempt of us trying to beat Diablo 2 Ubers. In this series, we're using ChatGPT to come up with a plan for us to beat the Ubers. This has a breakdown of what we should do each act, what gear we should use, what build we should use, and we're going to try this as a noob because we've never beaten the Ubers before, and we're doing this as a hardcore. So in today's episode, we start off our journey, make our way through Act 1. We skip between different player difficulties just to get as much experience as possible, just before we head into Act 2 and we take on Joriel. So, without further ado, let's jump on in. And ahoy gamers, we are finally back in Diablo 2. We are going to be playing through as a hardcore, solo self-found, Amazon, going all the way from 0 to Ubers. I've still yet to do Ubers yet, so it's going to be a bit tricky. But we're using ChatGPT to decide how I'm going to do this. So I've written a little prompt into ChatGPT, which I'll go through now. So, you can see here, this is the prompt I put in. Can you make me a guide on playing an Amazon on Diablo 2 with the goal of defeating the Uber bosses playing the game as a hardcore solo self-found? Guide must include skill and stat point allocation at each level, including the items and rune words I should farm for in each act. So here's a little guide it's used. So why should we use Javazon, which is now it's decided we're going to be a Javazon rather than just an Amazon, which is fine by me. Level 1 to 30, I should be putting enough gear strength into gear and enough into dex, about 40 to 40 in each, everything else into vitality. Essentially everything in vitality other than what's required for my gear, so I will do that. Hardcore priority vitality. Block only with storm shield, so fine. Tells me where I should put my skill points. So these skill points seem reasonable. 1 point into crit strike, dodge, evade, which that looks fine. Max power strike, charge strike, lightning bolt, lightning strike. They all make sense. Lightning Fury is obviously what I want to focus on. Charge Strike is boss killer. Yeah, this all seems fine. This all seems reasonable, to be quite honest. Per act, so this breaks it down act by act. So Act 1 normal. So we're probably only gonna do Act 1, maybe Act 2 today. We'll see. So Act 1, level to level 18 for Charge Strike. That's fine. Build early survivability and mobility. So item priorities will be rune words. So stealth, Tau, and F. Yes. Yeah, I'll get stealth. If it doesn't tell me to make a rune word, we're not going to make it. So other rune words here would be good. Would be for the helmet. I've forgotten what the helmet's called. But you can get a very good helmet in Act 1. Obviously, we're not going to do that because it doesn't tell us to get that here. And leaf. I get the leaf is good, but it's in a stave. How does it affect my fire bow? It doesn't affect my fire bow. So we won't be going for leaf. So we're just going to get stealth in the first act. Then Act 2, yes, use javelins, yep, okay, fine. Act 2, hire a might mercenary, that's fine. Making steel, I don't think steel works in javelins because you can't get, it'll work in a spear but it won't work in a javelin because you can't get javelins as sockets. Zephyr, we're not using a bow, so both these rune words are pointless. But we're going to go through Act 1 and 2 today. So the only thing we need to look out for is stealth. If I get any gear that drops on the floor, we'll get it. If there's anything later on, it will mention some other things we can get. Like Act 4, nope, Act 5, socket, prepare for nightmare, fine. Here, it will recommend farming certain gear. So here, mid-game goals. So this is where I want to farm nightmare. So weapon, and it should tell me where to get them. It doesn't tell me where to get them. Huh. That's fine. But we're going to still follow this guide anyway. So by the time we get to the end of Nightmare, we have to farm for all of these items. How we get them, I don't know. But we have to farm all these items just by using this guide here. Note to self, well, note for you guys, I've only beaten the game once, maybe twice in recent memory, probably twice as a hardcore. So we're going to be jumping straight on in. And as we jump straight on in, here's our character. I've cleared out the entire stash. So this is shared with all my other hardcore characters. I've cleared out the stash. So this is a completely empty character, completely naked character. We're going to start this run I've forgotten what button run is.
Town.
What button is this? R, of course runs R. And
I shall purge this land of the shadow.
yes, thank you. We're going to put the difficulty up to difficult 8 to start us off with. I'm happy to increase and decrease the difficulty. Amazons are quite strong to start off with, so difficulty 8 is fine. Just get the quick early game levels. And then with this as well, we'll be doing this in stages, because this is exactly the same as my Zero to Uber's run. I'm only going to be following what's on this ChatGPT, so I think I might be able to put the link to this down below. If I can't, I'll just show this at the beginning of every level of what the goal is for the episode. Also, the goal for this episode is just to get to Act 3. The only thing it tells me to do is to get stealth, so that's fine by me. And skill allocation, I'll pick everything up off the floor. Skill allocation, obviously stats, everything to vitality to start off with. Until like it says, unless I need gear, it's not going. I'm not putting any points into it. Let's go to skills. So first thing we want to do, let's quickly read this. So 1 point into critical strikes, that's under here. Critical strikes. Now then it wants us to put a point into dodge, a point into evade and avoid. So points into all of these. And it doesn't tell me to put a point into jab. Huh. I obviously need to put a point into jab. Obviously I won't be able to level up any of the other skills. So we'll be jumping in and out throughout the series. So obviously the goal today is to get to Act 3. But we'll be jumping in and out as and when we get into any like milestones. We will be trying to fight all the bosses as we go and do all the side content. Because I like to get as much experience as possible. I want to make the bosses as easy as... Ooh, that's useful. Lightning, dex, strength. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah, I want to make this a lot easier for myself. So I will be jumping in and out as we go through. And I want to grind as much as possible. And more strength, more points into vitality. And a point into jab. Nice. I won't be using jab. It's not very good. And we're coming to the end of the Den of Evil. You see here we've got Corpse Fire. Yes, Corpse Fire is his name. So we want to make sure we're equipped to take him out. We'll see if we try and tank him, he'll probably take us out. We are still on difficulty 8, which I don't mind. We have got some of these potions here. I was hoping the potions would do more damage than that, to be perfectly honest. That's a bit of a shame. So we may need to put this as jab. And this is doing almost no damage to the normal zombie, which is fine, I guess. There you go, let's try and just keep jabbing Corpse Fire down. It's the first issue of the game. First real difficulty. It's almost level 6, which is good. He might level us up. He did not level us up, that's fine. Yeah, I did get some more gear though, which is good. I'm not going to say no to some more gear. The only problem with us fighting Corpse Fires, all the mobs around him are also leveled up as well. But once we've taken this out, there you go, another level. It's level 6, perfect. And we now get ourselves some Power Strike. And I think we do want Poison Javelin, but we don't need it right now. So we can turn this into Power Strike. There you go, that's a lot more damage. That's what I'm talking about. It's so much better. And we're just going to grab this. We've got full inventory, so once we cleared this out, okay. Apparently we've missed some mobs somewhere, because I thought I've cleared them all out. But anyway, we'll finish this, then we'll see you again when we get to Bloodraven. And here we are at Bloodraven. We've just got to level 10. So we're just going to bonk our way through all of Bloodraven's minions first. And probably didn't want to use that rejuvenation potion. Press the wrong button. These curses, fat fingers. Right, let's take on some of these. We're just going to, yeah, level 10. We just found basic gear. I haven't found anything amazing just yet. And just like that, Bloodraven's down. Amazing. Small shield. Okay, that could be an upgrade. That could definitely be an upgrade. Well, it's already an upgrade with the defences. Now, with that in mind, we are now going to make our way to the Countess. Deckard Cain's next, but probably not going to show Deck Arcane, it's quite boring. So I'll jump back in when we get to the Countess and we're going to see what we get for our first rune drop. Because we are looking for stealth, and for stealth, of course, we need a tau and an F. We've yet to find a two-socketed armor piece. So every time I come back to town, I check here, see if I find anything that's two sockets, and I have not. So it's a bit of a shame. And let's see what that shield was actually. Faster block rate, chance of blocking is 40%, fire resistance, attack. Yeah, that's really good. Really good for my level. I now just ideally want to get myself a some form of better javelin. I did find myself this charm though. It's quite nice. Plus 1 to 3 lightning damage, which is not too bad. And here we are. We are on the final floor of the Forgotten Tower, the Lost Cellar, and we're going to be trying to take on the Countess. Still on players 8, just bonking our way through. Now at level 15, so doing very well for our levels, and hopefully we can get the runes we need. So we're looking for a Tau and an F rune. Managed to find a two-socketed heavy lever, or hard lever, I don't know what it's called. So I've got the base for the rune word already of stealth. Remember that it told ChatGPT has told me to make either stealth and leaf. We're not going to make leaf because leaf has no use for our build at all, because that is essentially a two-handed staff which increases your fire damage. We don't do any fire damage, so it's pointless. However, like everything else on this run, anything that ChatGPT says I should do, which will actually affect me, like I won't be cheating and doing some random rune word that the game doesn't, ChatGPT hasn't told me to get. So we need a Tau and F rune, If rune, not what we need, but we'll take it. Let's see what happens when this pops open. Nothing. Okay, that's fine. We'll have to do this a few more times, and I'm going to make a note of how many times we're doing this. Obviously, normally when you do this, you should lower the player count, mainly because more players, less the higher rune drop, but the type of rune, it drop a higher rune, but less drops. So you should really do this on a lower player count. So I'll drop the lower player count down, and we'll just farm this for a bit. Yeah, because we just need a tower at F, not F. That's just fine though.
Good day.
So that was a good number of runs, and got ourselves a F rune earlier and a tower rune. So here we go. There is stealth ready for us at level 17, and leftover runes in here. Only had to do, I think there's 4 runs we had to do to get that, which is not too bad. Not too bad at all. We did an extra run because I was hoping I might be able to make the helmet, but then I remembered we're not using helmets because the guy didn't tell me to use any helmets. So we're just going to keep picking up any helmet we find. So we need to be level 16 for it. So 1 level away. So before we do that, obviously, back up to difficulty 8. Just until we get to Andy, we're going to keep going on difficulty 8 just to make it more interesting. So here we go. We are now in the Catacombs level 4, which is where Andy is. You can see how fast we're running because of those, because of stealth. You see I'm using charge strikes here, because every time I hit an enemy, it shoots out little charge bolts behind them. Really useful skill. Absolutely destroys packs of mobs. Also, really good at taking out an individual mob as well, because sometimes when you hit an enemy, the charge bolts, if it's a large enemy, the charge bolt doesn't go through them. They all make contact with the large enemy and does extra damage. So we haven't got this on difficulty 8 at the moment. We just got this on difficulty, I think it's 4, maybe 3. I can't remember off the top of my head. Just to get us through this. We'll take out all these ghouls, and there is Andy. There she is. Let's try and take out as many of these as possible. There your shaman's down. And we should just be able to tank her attacks. And just like that, Andy's down. Got ourselves a charm, some gloves, and a belt. Nice. Thank you very much, game.
This maiden shall inflict no more anguish.
So that is now Act 1 complete, which is awesome. We'll make our way to Act 2. The first things obviously we're going to do in Act 2 will be taking on Radamant, so we get the extra skill point, which is very useful. And then we'll just make our way through getting the cube and all the other parts of Act 2. But first things first, let's check all the gear we just got. And that'd be good to have. So that'd be very nice to have. So just need to put 5 skill points into strength. And I don't mind putting some skill points into strength because ChatGPT said anything between, what is it? Anything between level 1 to 30, anything between 40 to 60 strength. So it didn't say our top limit, didn't say the lower limit. So anything between 40 and 60 strength, I will put into strength. Same as, it's not just strength, it says the same for dexterity as well. But we'll see you when we get to Radamant. Because I'm gonna take a bit of a break because I'm recording this last week. So I'm gonna have a bit of a break and come back to this a couple of days before this gets released. And hopefully I'm not too rusty and hopefully I don't die. So we found our way to Radamant in Act 2. So we'll show this. This tends to be quite spicy, or can have the chance of being quite spicy. And so we're going to rush on through. Obviously, in Nightmare in Hell, Radamant has a chance to almost one-shot you with his Pimp Slap, which hopefully he'll do it now. That wasn't his pimp. Okay, he didn't do his Pimp Slap that time. But he has a skill where he just slaps you. He does a lot of damage. And that is Radamant done. I'm trying to think where we need to jump back in. I don't think there's any boss, like mini bosses, making our way through Act 2. So we'll probably just jump back in when we get to what's it called? The Maggot Lair will be easy. No, we're just going to jump in when we get to Horizon, or Horizon's lair. So the Arcane Sanctuary. So we'll be a while.
Good evening.
And here we are inside the Arcane Sanctuary. Oh, trying to use WSD to move. I've been playing a lot of Path Exile 2 recently. We're going to try and kind of speed our way through this, to be perfectly honest. I don't really like this area. But this is probably going to be the first area where we're likely to die. I have put this for the time being, just while we make our way towards the end of the act. I have put this on Players 8. Yeah, Players 8. It's just so it helps us level. When we actually get to Joriel and the... you alright there, buddy? Mercenary's just having the time of his life. When we get to Joriel at the end of the act, we will dumb this down back to probably Players 2, maybe 3. Yeah, so I think that'd be the intention. Just got to slave bunk our way down with these. So, the reason why I skipped a lot of this act as well is the ChatGPT didn't really tell me to do anything in this act. The only thing it told me to do was to get steel, get ourselves the mercenary, which we got ourselves the mercenary, get ourselves the runeword steel, which is a tier and an L rune inside a weapon. We can't put that in a javelin, it tells us to use javelins, so that's a no-go. And then the only other one would be to then give ourselves Zephyr, which is a really good bow, which gives you thorns. Really, really good bow if you have any minions. But we can't use Zephyr because it's a bow, and it tells us to use these skills. It tells us to use Power Strike as the main skill early game. So here we are, using Power Strike as the main skill. And I had to be honest, it is really strong. Really strong. Yes, we're taking this boss here is taking a bit of a beating, but he's immune to lightning, or has lightning resistance. All the other mobs are going down very quickly, and we just made our way to level 22. I did accidentally put some 5 points into strength. I put 1 point in, and I realised and because the way my brain works, if I put 1 point into a skill, I have to put all of them into that skill. So we put 5 points into strength by accident. So you see here, Arcane Sanctuary is not too bad. We'll probably jump back in when we actually find the right path. Hopefully we find it the first time. But obviously there's a 1 in 4 chance that it won't be, or it could be the right way. Huzzah, we got lucky. First try. This is the right way. You can tell it's going to be the right way because it turns off an angle. So it normally goes off 90 degrees and then you see a staircase. So we know that the boss is up here. We want to try and take on all of the ads first. Especially as we don't have a load of healer potions. So I guess we only have 2. We don't have loads of rejuvenation potions. Looks like there aren't that many mobs up here. So we should be able to go straight on against the summoner. Pop the potions and easy as that. So we're now into the end game of Act 2 and almost getting quite close to the end of this episode. So Canyon of the Magi, click there, go back up here, and if we use this, okay, return to town, yep, so we're looking for the smiley mouth. I can't remember where exactly the smiley mouth is, but we'll jump back in when we get to Joriel. Here's Joriel. Yeah, here's Joriel, yeah. And here we are. Tower Ashes 2, we managed to find it. Managed to get ourselves to level 23. We're going to quickly dumb down the difficulty. Just going to go difficulty 1. We're not going to take the risk. This is a 0 to Ubers run, not a let's do everything on max difficulty run. So we're going to jump on him. There he is. We drank some falling potions, so the time at which we spend frozen should be reduced. Saying that we're still... Okay, this is fine. Every time we do hit him, he takes a chunk of damage. We've got 2 more potions, 3 rejuvenate. Okay, this is... So I stacked up on a load of potions for no reason, but that's okay. Rather overpack than underpack. These should all fit in there. Double axe, great axe, and trident. Nah, stop it. That is the end of Act 2, and that is the end of today's episode. So hopefully next episode will be out next Sunday. We're going to slowly make this through. I'm going to be making Sundays a Diablo 2 day.
This is not good.
Going forward, so for the next couple of weeks it'll be ideally just my progress from 0 to Ubers using ChatGPT as a guide. Normally I'd use someone else's guide on the internet, but hey, ChatGPT, if it thinks it can make a noob like me beat the Ubers, I'm going to take it. I've never done Ubers before, so this is very much quite difficult and very new to me. Then because there will be lots of farming later on. It depends on how much time it takes me to farm. I will end up doing something else, like I might do a ChatGPT random build run, or I might try the worst runs of Diablo 2 playlist to see how far I can get as hardcore. Stuff like a melee sorceress, not a good idea, but I might try that as a hardcore. But we'll see. But as we end this episode, we'll have a couple links down below in the description. And the first one being to my Discord. So the community Discord, if you want to join the community Discord, you're more than welcome to join. Small community, slowly growing, you're more than welcome. And then you've got 2 YouTube channels down below. The first one is to my Mrs YouTube, which is called One Nerd to Rule Them All. That just covers all fantasy lore, everything to do with Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and Warhammer. And then we've got a third YouTube channel between me and the Mrs, which is called Nerdy Miniatures, which is all about the tabletop Warhammer game, whether it be Age of Sigmar, Warcry, it's essentially everything to do with the Warhammer Miniatures. Currently building and painting them, soon we're going to be battling them, which is pretty cool. So if you like the idea of that, have a look at Nerdy Miniatures. So have a wonderful day everyone, and as per usual, peace out.